Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Heart to Heart with Hads. Back at it, back at home in my pink chair. If you're watching on YouTube, but I hope you all are having such a fantastic week. It's Friday when you're listening. When you're listening, I'm gonna be in Branson, so I'm gonna go to the lake and golf stuff, of course. You already know. But today I kind of wanted to make an episode on how to live a healthy lifestyle, and how to live a healthy lifestyle and stick to it. So, obviously, my background is health, fitness, female health, hormones, like all of that, gut health. But I never really talk about that on this podcast because I want this to be more of like a self development, growth, like me getting to help you, but on a different level. That's not health and fitness, like a different platform of like showing me and who I am. But I feel like this one is long overdue, and I probably should have done this like at the beginning of starting this podcast, but better now than never. So I just want to get back into it on why did I say that? I've been doing check ins all day. And when I do those, I try to be, like very professional. And so right now I'm trying to be super professional with what I'm doing. And I just need to let it all loose because, the workday is pretty much over. I have one client call after this, but then I'm done. So I just need to like let loose. I'm trying to be too like Miss Proper. So if you hear me being like that, I'm really apologize. I'm trying to switch over from work mode to just, chill mode. But I have some notes if you are on YouTube and you keep seeing me look over. That's why. But let's get into it. Um, I guess my healthy lifestyle, which you may have heard in past episodes if you've listened, stemmed from, always having a competitive background, but just seeing someone I know sick and then just wanting better for myself and others to not, have to go through that again. Because I truly think, yes, genetics are a huge part of, like developing diseases and things, but it's not as big of a part as your environment and what you're feeding your body and your mind. So that's kind of what I wanted to jump into today, how to live a healthy lifestyle and how to stick to it. So, first of all, we need to understand what a healthy lifestyle means. And healthy lifestyle is not just gym train. Like there's so much more to it, and I think people really don't understand that. Um, when you talk about health, you're talking about mental health, physical health, every little aspect of yourself, gut health, like everything is connected into one. So I think that's your first realization, is realizing that in order to be healthy, everything needs to be all interconnected. Like if you're like, oh, I eat healthy, I go to the gym, but like mentally your stress is like wackadoodle, like there's just other environmental factors that are playing in, like I don't know, but there's so much more that comes down to it. And I think it's important to note that just because someone goes to the gym and someone eats healthy doesn't mean that they're actually healthy. They could have so many other unhealthy habits going on in their life. So, okay, let's get into it. I know I keep saying that, but next, just some common misconceptions about being healthy too is that people are restrictive and people all they do is work out and go to the gym and like dieting and just not feeling our bodies the way that we should is sometimes what people see as healthy, and like that's just not it. And so I'm here to break that stigma of like healthy foods and training. And I'm just trying to think of like what I would hear people say of just like negatively talking down like you're so healthy, like Okay, and like you're not, I don't know. But just the misconception of that, of like, just be like, if you're someone listening to this and you're healthy and people like say like that kind of thing to you, it's just annoying and it's frustrating because it's like, well, what are you? So ignore. I would say the first thing is you have to be able to set reasonable goals for yourself within your healthy lifestyle. And they need to be measurable for sure. So, I mean, they don't always have to be measurable, but usually it's like, I want to go to the gym 3 days this week. I'm going to go to the gym 3 days this week. I'm going to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. I'm going to prep my meals for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. I'm only going to go out to eat one time this week. I'm going to make sure that before bed, I always journal for 5 minutes every single week. Like, you have to have these clear habits set in place so that you're set up for success. And I feel like all of these really do play into living the healthy lifestyle. Like, you have to have these habits ingrained in you, and it takes time. But without these habits, like, the lifestyle that you're after is just, it's just not going to be there. So the habits have to be set in place for sure. Um, and then also, you have to be consistent with it. So you can't just, you know, think that this month I'm gonna be so hard on my stuff just because I have this coming up. And it's like, that is not sustainable. For one, like what you're doing right now, you're like, oh, I'm hitting the gym so hard, I'm cutting back on all my foods. Like, yeah, it's very temporary, but it's not long term. And actually, what you're doing is not really considered healthy because it's not in a sustainable manner. It's not a sustainable approach to healthy living or whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So keep that in mind. And nutrition. Nutrition is huge. I think when we're talking about a healthy lifestyle, this plays a huge, huge factor into it. And people can say they eat healthy, but when it comes down to it, if you are eating good, like majority of the time, and then the weekend rolls around and you binge drink and you binge eat and you're just completely off the walls, then I hate to break it to you, but that's not necessarily a healthy lifestyle. And I'm not saying you have to like not have fun and cut out going to eat and stuff like that, but there comes a point in time where it's like, if you're like so good, so good, so good, and then the weekend comes around and you're just like, oh, I just can't do it. Like, there's no structure, there's no da da da, whatever it may be. You have to really like come back to this and be like, is this really like who I am and what I'm wanting to be? Or am I just, like bullshitting? So I think a lot of it comes down to your why for one, and also who you are as a person for two. Like, can you really hold yourself accountable? Can you really hold yourself to that high standard? And that honestly has to come from within. Nobody else can do that for you and have that discipline for you. But okay, healthy foods. What do I mean by healthy foods? I mean eating clean, unprocessed foods majority of the time. And I think people have a really hard time differentiating from like what's healthy and what's not. And everyone has their own version, I would say. But in my book, it healthy to me is unprocessed foods, very clean diet. I like to eat organic fruits because I just do. I mean, look it up. You can look up organic fruits and vegetables and whatever. And I like to stay clear of like packaged foods. And I mean, to each their own, but just from my research and what I know about food itself, I know that eating whole foods, when I say whole foods, I mean none of the packaged foods that's like ingredients are um, sunflower oil, soy lecithin, whatever, and like 10 other ingredients. No, one of the ingredient on there is oatmeal or oats. Like those are the only real packaged foods that I'm really consuming. Or like nuts, the only ingredient is nuts or seeds or like those types of things. But other than that, I'm eating ground beef, I'm eating chicken, I'm eating vegetables, fresh vegetables, I'm eating potatoes, eggs, bone broth, like very, very clean foods. And I just find this is what makes me feel best. And people are like, but I feel good. And it's like, you feel good for like what you're doing right now, but until you switch over, you don't really realize how shitty you felt before. Like now, I realize like I feel so good, and so anytime I introduce something that's just not good, I have a reaction of like, oh, this is just my body literally hates this. So to each their own, but that's my tips for being healthy. And I think meal prepping comes along with that. Mindful eating is huge. This is something that I really work on, but eating without distractions, like being very present with what you're putting into your body and not just choosing stuff because it's fast and convenient, but what's actually going to serve you and fuel you and help you live on your day to day activities is crucial. Um, okay, activity. Obviously, health and um, activity are definitely correlated. Strength training, I think, is huge, incorporating it because it not only makes you stronger, but it helps with bone density. It just helps with overall feeling good. Like those endorphins or serotonin, whatever hormones you get from exercising, they make you feel good. The cardiovascular benefits from walking, cardio, getting on the elliptical, getting on the treadmill, getting your heart rate up. This is all important. I don't think people truly realize whenever you're doing this and living this lifestyle, you're preventing disease later on. You're preventing yourself from becoming sick and obese. And that's the problem is people are so focused on the here and the now that they don't even look past tomorrow. And since I'm a very futuristic person, people that are like very like type A, like usually understand this of like they're always futuristic looking. And if you're really in tune with yourself, then you know, okay, like I know that what I'm doing right now is going to affect me in the long term, so I need to do something right now about it. And but there's other people that are just very easygoing, laid back, and they don't think that far into it. So that's another factor that you have to keep in mind. Um, but another big way you can change your life right now is to start walking more. Get up off your ass and go on a walk. But you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I have no energy. You have no energy because you sit your ass on the couch or on a chair at work all day, every day. Get up. I'm so sick and tired of this. Like, if people would just walk more, they would. Oh, don't get me started on the walks. Don't get me started on the walks. They would not only probably lose body fat, their digestion would be better. They would get more sunlight, get more vitamin D, and like it's a ripple effect. If people would just start here, I can't tell you what it would do for you. It would change your life. It would change your life. Okay, enough on the exercise because I could go on a tangent about exercising. This next part is huge and it's something that I struggle with, that many people struggle with just because of like the era that we're in of social media and everyone being on their phones and comparing themselves, their lifestyles to everybody else they see online. There's a freaking gnat, and that's why I keep swatting, and it's so annoying. But we're in this society of like the instant gratification, always on our phones, comparing to other people. And it's so hard for us to just like live and be present and live our own lives because we're in this constant, realm of people like doing this. Like I'm going here and here and here, and there's no real way to just like relax and be here with who we are, enjoy where we're at. So, with that being said, stress and mental health is a huge part. So, stress and I guess your mental overall well being is such a huge component of living a healthy lifestyle. And honestly and truthfully, scientifically, if you're stressed, your body is in a chronic state of stress. The rest of your body functions literally shut down. And I have experienced this firsthand, and I'm sure many people have too, where you either go into this vicious cycle of like, I'm super stressed, like I'm eating so much, and then my digestion's off, and my sleep's off, my hormones are off, and everything in between's off. On the other hand, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed, like I don't want to eat, and then you lose all this weight, and then your metabolism slows down, and you can't sleep, and your hair's falling out, and there each side has its bad, but ultimately like stress is the biggest thing that you can manage and control to live a healthy lifestyle. And I feel like that's a huge pillar that people often overlook. And I've said this multiple times, but one thing that really helps me is journaling, meditating, and staying off my phone. I know my job is on my phone, but truthfully, this is key. Like you get so sucked into it. It's instant gratification. If you once you find something that challenges you in a different way, like even challenging yourself like leave your phone in a different room when you're going to bed or replacing your time with reading a book. And that kind of goes back to the habit thing of like replacing your current habits with new ones. It helps so much initiate the lifestyle changes, which, the healthy lifestyle that we're talking about here. So, oh, breath work is another one. Sleep. Stress directly affects your sleep. And if you're in a constant state of stress, like I've said before, your sleep is going to be off, which truly does affect everything else as well. So if you're like, oh, I live a healthy lifestyle, but I just sleep like crap, you're not healthy. And I've been there. Like, I go through times where my sleep is just so bad because, well, like I said, my stress is not in a good spot. So, everything all encompasses one. But the thing about living a healthy lifestyle that people don't get is that it truly enhances every other part of your life. Like if you're healthy, you show up better for your people. You're smarter, you can think better, you work better. Like there's just so much that your health has effect on, and truly being able to take that lifestyle on, you're enhancing your life and everyone else around you. And I think that's why I love it the most. um Next thing that I have before we wrap it up here is obviously there's going to be some obstacles and excuses, but ultimately, like, you just have to have that drive, that motivation, that like deep desire to want to have that specific goal of living a healthy lifestyle and just being, like I said, being healthy for yourself and for others. And this next one is really huge. Your environment plays such a big role on you and your health. And if you don't surround yourself with people who are like minded, you're going to find yourself falling into the old ways, the old habits, the unhealthy habits. And so, my biggest thing is I've had to just kind of not necessarily cut out, but like I was just thinking on it today. I truthfully like don't have many friends because they just don't follow the same lifestyle as I do. And you are who you surround yourself with. So if your environment is toxic, like your family, your friends, they don't live that same lifestyle as you. It's honestly annoying at this point because it's like I've changed my life so much, but yet you're still like you're not doing the same thing I am. And so it's almost frustrating and annoying. So you have to find that environment. And if you have to like cut people out, you have to do that. I'm not saying cut off all your family, but like limit that time, you know? Like they're not helping you get closer to your goals. They're shaming you or telling you like this is stupid, when in reality they should be supporting you. So you have to find that supportive community and environment to keep you on this track of healthy living. So another thing too is your environment is not just the people, it's also every other thing you're putting into your body. You, like I said, your phone, your what you're looking at, your candles, your hair, your cosmetics, all of that all really plays a huge part of living the healthy lifestyle. Now, how to stick to it. This is the big thing. Sticking to it is constantly reminding yourself of why you're doing this, celebrating the small wins that you have. Like, oh my gosh, I changed my habit of scrolling on TikTok at night for reading a book. And oh my gosh, I started journaling instead of doing XYZ. And oh my gosh, in the mornings, I've started to wake up and go for 30-minute walks. Like each little thing adds up. You're not going to just one day wake up and be like this jacked, ripped person with, freaking eating every organic food in the book and have every organic product and every red light therapy you can think of, but you're going to be making small improvements to better your health. My gut health is good. I've had a bowel movement every day for the past month. Like, these are all huge wins and they add up. So I think the biggest takeaway and tip for like sticking to it is you have to start in small increments. And then those increments you have to celebrate when you do achieve those. So going on a walk, check that off your checklist. Oh my gosh, I went on a walk every single day this week. Next week I think I can try this, and then it ripples effect. But once you practice it every day, that's the problem is you have to cut out the toxicity, and you really do have to like cut it out almost completely. If your pantry is full of straight shit, you're gonna be so tempted to eat that. You're gonna eat it. Like at my house, in my cabinet or whatever, we don't have shit food. So guess what? We don't eat it. Like stop buying it. Stop feeding your body and your mind these things. And you have to just embrace the hard. Like I think that's the real true reason that people can't stick to the healthy lifestyle is that they just don't have that in them, that drive and desire to be challenged, to want to like really want it so bad. And that has to come within, but it also has to come from your habits and working on changing those, cutting people out, cutting certain things out, saying no, standing your ground, respecting your boundaries, and like going all in on yourself. At the end of the day, you're not doing it for anyone else, you're doing it for yourself. So I think that's what I'm going to wrap it up on is if you take away anything from this episode is whatever you do it for yourself. It's not for anyone else. Okay, maybe it is for your kids, but like do it because you want to be better. You want to make the initiative. All right, that's all I got for you today because I have to finish up my work and get some things done by 5:30. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm trying to get better at these. I know I'm not the best, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. My camera just died, which it only records 30 minutes, which is super annoying. Um, so yeah, I think this was a super fun episode, and I like it because it speaks to me and it speaks to a lot of my following that are trying to, take on this lifestyle of being healthier. So if you guys like it, give me some feedback, leave a review. Any podcast topic ideas, shoot them as well. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, whatever you're listening to this. And be sure to follow me on the podcast Instagram. Give me some good, fun things to do on the pod. Yeah, leave a review, share it with your friends, share it with anybody you know. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.